Need items to celebrate Heritage Month in style? Look no further than the JIS's Publications Department. They have flags, posters, books, pins, coins, and so much more. Please feel free to call 926-359024 to hear how you can get your hands on these items. Hi there. Welcome to another edition of the show that keeps you up to date on a nation on a mission to improve the lives of all its citizens. It's International Day for Disaster Reduction, and with this year's observation focusing on the aging, we'll hear from a government agency that has its fingers on the pulse of the island's response to disaster reduction. So let's jump right into the show with a Chick V message followed by the news.
Chikungunya is a viral infection transmitted when an Aedes aegypti mosquito bites an infected person and then bites someone else. Symptoms include high fever, headache, joint pain, muscle pain, and rash. If you suspect that you've been infected, take paracetamol such as Panadol, Cetamol, and Tylenol. Infants, children under 5 years old, pregnant women, the elderly, persons with sickle cell, and chronic illnesses such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease are at risk for more severe symptoms and must see a doctor for proper evaluation and monitoring. Fortunately, most cases of Chick V are mild, but if your symptoms worsen, you need to see a doctor. For more info, call 1-888-1-LOVE from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That number again, 1-888-663-5683.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Monday, October 13. The Disabilities Act has been passed in the Upper House of Parliament. The legislation, which makes provisions to safeguard and enhance the welfare of persons with disabilities, got the Senate's approval last Friday. It will facilitate the establishment of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities as well as the Disabilities Rights Tribunal. Senate President Floyd Morris, who is visually challenged, described the legislation's passage as historic. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller is asserting that the nation's health is paramount to productivity. Mrs. Simpson-Miller was responding to questions posed by reporters during a press briefing at Jamaica House last Thursday. Concerns have been raised that the chikungunya outbreak has been affecting productivity, which in turn will have an impact on the country's ability to meet the targets set under the International Monetary Fund agreement.
If we are to protect the productivity of the country, first of all, we need to protect our people. And so we believe that we have to, at this time, put the interest of the country, the interest of the people first.
The government has released $500 million to coordinate its response to the containment and control of the chikungunya virus. Government is planning to acquire 2 linear accelerator machines to improve cancer treatment in the public sector by next year. Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson recently received 2 checks from private donors to help fund the acquisition. The donations have a combined value of over $153,000 and the machines will be placed at the Kingston Public Hospital and the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
The cost of a full course of radiation treatment is in the region of $1.8 to $1.9 million. When we acquired these 2 machines in partnership with our friends and in partnership with the National Health Fund and the Chase Fund, it means that the poorest and the most vulnerable in our society will move from $1.8 million to zero.
Minister Ferguson was speaking at the 2014 convention of the Jamaica Association of Administrative Professionals. The Jamaica Constabulary Force continues to work on a program to rehabilitate police lockups across the island. Commissioner of Police Dr. Carl Williams says Hunts Bay, Kingston Central and other police lockups have been refurbished to ensure that inmates are housed in good conditions.
We keep them in conditions that are befitting their, not just their status as prisoners, but human. Ensure that we pay attention to their human dignity. That is part and parcel of our thrust to, protect their human rights.
Commissioner Williams adds that if more lockups are renovated, it will increase the number of holding areas for persons who come in conflict with the law while ensuring that their environment is clean and safe. And finally, Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites is urging communities to join government's program for nutritional support to the early childhood sector. While addressing the Early Childhood Commission's 10th anniversary parish celebration in St. Mary recently, Minister Thwaites called on communities to organize local feeding programs.
If you have a program in your school or in your community that can provide nutritionally adequate help for your children, and if whatever we would spend to get the food to you can best be used by your community, please approach us and let us see how that can be arranged.
Government's nutrition initiative will be administered by Nutrition Products Limited and will involve more use of local vegetables and other agricultural produce. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean.
Last week, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and her team were involved in several high-profile meetings, chief among them an update on the national response to the chikungunya and Ebola viruses. That story plus others are next in Jamaica House Weekly.
$500 million now available for the national campaign to combat the chikungunya virus. Government ramps up Ebola prevention planning and effective management system, and Prime Minister endorses Red Stripe's opening of its combined heat and power plant. I'm Simone Wolf with Jamaica House Weekly. With a $500 million budget, government last week unveiled a comprehensive plan of action to address the outbreak of the chikungunya virus on the island. Among them, an all-island cleanup campaign to detect and destroy mosquito breeding sites from October 15 to 22. The National Emergency Response Team, led by Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, also kicked their chickpea containment efforts into high gear. Team members, including the NSWMA, ODPEM, Ministry of Health, JIS, JCF and the JDF have been meeting and coordinating their response to the outbreak. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management also released several numbers for the public to report suspected chickpea cases and suspected mosquito breeding sites in their community. Persons are asked to call 833-0629, 838-5320, 754-9077, or the toll-free line 1-888-225-5637. In addition, the Ministry of Health's Emergency Operations Center can be contacted at 1-888-663-5683 from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. And at a press briefing Thursday, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller called for collective responsibility in controlling the spread of the mosquito-borne disease.
While the government is committed to doing everything it can to contain the spread of the virus and protect the population, our citizens also have a responsibility and a role to play. I call on every single Jamaican to get involved by keeping their surroundings free of debris and materials which serve as breeding sites.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister announced extended opening hours for health centers in the parishes worst affected by the chikungunya virus. Some health centers will be opened between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. in the parishes of St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew. At the same time, Mrs. Simpson Miller has assured the public that paracetamols are in stock to alleviate the pain and fever brought on by chickpea.
I want to assure the country that there are enough supplies of paracetamol available free of cost at all public health facilities, in addition to the supplies at private retail outlets. There's no need for any unreasonable increase in the price of this commodity.
Government has also intensified planning for the prevention and management of Ebola should the virus present itself in the island. Prime Minister Simpson Miller said the Ebola Contingency Action Plan included the Ministry of Health and ODPEM receiving logistics coordination support from the Jamaica Defense Force, while the police would provide public safety and law and order enforcement support. In addition, she said sensitization and refresher training on Ebola management would be held with emergency first responders. She also assured that the country had adequate Ebola safety kits for health workers and other first responders, and said quarantine facilities and equipped isolation wards were being established.
Jamaicans are being encouraged to take action as part of our personal responsibility in this situation. Avoid traveling to Ebola-affected countries and regions, and truthfully declare your travel history when arriving and departing the island.
And Minister responsible for information, Senator Sandra Faulkner, pledged to be open with the media about government's response to CHIKV and Ebola. Senator Faulkner said the National Monitoring Committee would give timely updates.
We will give you weekly updates, and that committee is chaired by me. Colonel Price is leading the coordination of the cleanup activities. The ODPEM is part of the committee, Dr. Marian Dukas, and from JEEP and the Ministry of Finance. So we will give you a weekly update on what is happening.
On Wednesday, Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller urged the business community to innovate and retool their companies to remain competitive in today's marketplace. She said increased productivity was the key to generating and sustaining growth on the island.
While we seek to increase foreign direct investment in the economy, local direct investment, such as that being made by Red Stripe, is important and vital for creating more jobs, raising productivity levels, and certainly increasing the pace and scale of economic growth.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the official opening of Red Stripe's combined heat and power plant, which is expected to lower its energy cost to 18 US cents per kilowatt hour. Following a tour of the beer company's plant, Mrs. Simpson-Miller also lauded Red Stripe for the US $18.3 million investment in the country, which has seen the establishment of the power plant, a cassava supply chain, and the training and employing of Jamaicans under its Job for Life initiative.
Innovation and more robust public-private partnerships are key to overcoming some of the challenges business face.
May this inaugural induction ceremony redound to the benefit of all who love and play chess, and may the game of chess continue to grow from strength to strength.
The Minister with responsibility for sport was speaking at the inaugural Jamaica Chess Federation Hall of Fame Awards ceremony recently. She saluted the awardees and the nominees, the Chess Federation and sponsors for their contribution to the sport.
The recognition of excellence and outstanding achievements is crucial to the development of sports. It encourages those who show promise, ignites ambition in those who have already achieved, and popularizes the sport with the general population.
And that's how we close this week's Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for our weekly update on the stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am Nadine Newsom. Today, I speak with Laurice Edwards-Brown, Director of Investigations and Enforcement at the FSC. Welcome to the FSC Minute, Laurice.
Thank you for having me, Nadine.
Laurice, what does the U.S. Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act mean for financial institutions in Jamaica?
The Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, FATCA, has global reach. It was passed in the U.S. in March 2010. What this means for all foreign financial institutions is that they have to report certain information on certain accounts that have indicia for U.S. persons to the U.S.
How and when will this process begin in Jamaica?
In Jamaica, the signing of the Intergovernment Agreement the IGA, was signed on Thursday, May 1, 2014. Jamaica has chosen to protect its financial institutions by signing the IGA, and that will help the process regarding the withholding tax. It also requires that local financial institutions will have to perform three principal tasks. One, they will have to identify new U.S. customers or U.S. persons. They'll have to examine existing customer information for the U.S. indicia status, and they'll have to report annually on these accounts to the IRS. Under this agreement, that is the intergovernment agreement between Jamaica and the U.S., information will be transmitted to the Internal Revenue Service, that is the IRS, through a central authority, the Tax Administration of Jamaica. This model eliminates the need for our financial institutions to interface directly with the IRS.
There's also a local registration process for financial institutions.
The registration process has already begun. All local financial institutions are required to get registered by December 31, 2014, and they should go on the IRS system online, look under the classification deemed compliant to receive a global intermediary identification number, commonly known as GIN, G-I-I-N. There are some additional deadlines to note. Reporting to the Tax Administration of Jamaica begins on January 21, 2015 on all transactions up to 2014 and beyond. And the first report from the Central Authority to the IRS will begin on September 30, 2015.
Thank you, Lorice. My guest today was Lorice Edwards-Brown, Director of Investigations and Enforcement at the FSC. For the FSC Minute, I am Nadine Newsom.
Senior citizens, the elderly, whatever you call them, they are valuable. A group of precious individuals who have laid the foundation for future generations. Treasure them, respect them, show them love and kindness, care for them, sit with them and listen to the stories of yesteryears, learn from their experiences. Or senior citizens, important assets to the Jamaican society.
All last month, we celebrated our senior citizens and their contribution to national development. We continue our focus on the aging with today's observation of the International Day for Disaster Reduction under the theme, Resilience is for Life. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management fills us in on government's plans.
Well, it is always important to place emphasis globally on disaster risk reduction, and the United Nations General Assembly, way back in 1989, saw it fitting to have a day set aside to recognize disaster risk reduction initiative and to place focus on disaster risk reduction. This year, what they have done is to place focus on the aging population. And in Jamaica, we have been doing a lot of work in the past as it relates to the aged, but to look at it globally to ensure that we have collective involvement of them in building disaster resilience community, and by virtue building disaster resilient nation and a global resiliency. So it is important that we place an emphasis on this. Older people, which I'm getting into that group very shortly, have a significant role to play in what we do. They have a wealth of experience. We have older people that have been involved in risk management, have been involved in climate change and comprehensive development. So it is good to pull on them for knowledge and for effort. And they do pull a lot of respect in a lot of the communities. A lot of the time when you go to do community work, it is always the older grouping that is pulling out people to come and do the work. So it is quite significant that we get their involvement in the process to build resilience right across the nation. Well, it is about sharing of knowledge, sharing of ideas, looking at the work that LPH has done, looking at the work that the ODPM has done, and also looking at the work that the United Nations has done in terms of building resilience across the board, and in terms of looking at the involvement of the aged in the process. So for this 2-day workshop, part of it would be a signing of a charter, United Nations Charter, as it relates to the aging population, and also to just bring collective knowledge to bear on the whole aspect of disaster risk reduction in general, and with a specific focus on the aged population.
Hey you. Me? Yes you. Are you between the ages of 9 to 12, attending a primary or prep school? Do you want to go on a treasure hunt? No. You don't need to go that far. Our island home has a lot of hidden treasures, and this is your opportunity to explore.
The Jamaica Information Service Heritage Essay Competition is here again for its 4th staging. Your challenge is to type a 400 to 500 word essay on which national heritage site is most significant and why.
So gear up, boot up that computer, and start trekking.
You need to download the application form online at jis.gov.jm. For more information on what you need to complete your exploration, call 926-359-024, extension 2137 or 2133. Your journey should be completed by Friday, October 31. The typed essay should be submitted online via the entry form on the JIS website at jis.gov.jm.
Interested in history? How about Jamaica's rich cultural heritage? This next feature is sure to whet your appetite.
Oh boy. Yes, this one. Oh, hi there. Hi. Trust me, I'm sorry. I was just caught up in this infectious page turner. Welcome to another edition of the Arts Page. Today we showcase 2 of the JIS's contribution to the literary arts scene. I'm gonna go and read here. Too cool.
Let's look at the first book. The 2nd edition of Jamaican Folk Customs and Beliefs is packed with all the old wives' tales, superstitions, and the general thoughts Jamaicans hold to be true. We have a rich cultural history, and the book speaks to the root of what we as a people believe, passed down from generation to generation.
You remember what your granny used to say? Picnic. No open the umbrella in the house. You don't want to get married. Well, all that in the book too.
How about if your right hand scratches, you'll receive money? Or if your right ear rings, you'll hear good news? What about your right elbow and receiving a handshake? Well, those are just some of the many different ideas the book deals with. From love and courtship to pregnancy and the days of the week, this book has all you'll need to know about the ideas we still hold dear.
And since we're on the topic of books, here's another one that is sure to elicit fond memories and national pride.
This book that I have in my hand is very relevant to the history of Jamaica and to show us where we have come today as a nation, because nothing tells the story better than photographs. Nothing at all.
That's so true. chronicling 50 years of nationhood, or Golden Jubilee snapshots of post-independent Jamaica 1962 to 2012, offers up crisp photographs of Jamaica's beauty, from its people to the mountains and the valleys. But most of all, it also brings to the fore the development and progress that has been made since 1962. Scenes from the book are laid out in beautiful black and white and colored photography, recording and recreating some moments of the nation's past.
I would tell people to give this book as a gift to children, that they might not find the value of it now, but later they can. It also would make an interesting independence gift to older people whose memories are now fading but can look at this immediately. The return of the body of Garvey is a seminal moment in Jamaican history, and it's captured there. If you look at the picture of the coffin, it's far more ornate and covered with things than now. Martin Luther King's visit, Bustamante leading people down Duke Street. All of that, Michael Manley at his father's grave, and that the mantle was handed from father to son later. It's small but important.
And not only that,
this collector's item will go down as one of the best pieces of collection in a book that we can ever get.
So, if you're interested in copying these collector's items, be sure to contact the JIS's Research and Publications Department at 926-359024 or email them at research@jis.gov.jm.
This has been The Arts Page.
Take me back to Jamaica, where I was born, where the green bananas grow, and the river ran the flow. Take me back to Jamaica.
Schools, colleges, businesses need research material for the upcoming heritage celebrations? Look no further. The Jamaica Information Service has all the heritage items you need: books, flags, posters, CDs, and DVDs. Don't wait until the last minute. Get your material today. Visit the Jamaica Information Service at 58A Halfway Tree Road, Kingston, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mondays to Thursdays, and 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Fridays. Come in, call, or click to place your order. Email research@jis.gov.jm or call 926-359024.
And that's our show. Have comments or queries? Email us, jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. You may also keep in touch on our social media platforms. This and past shows are available for viewing on our website, jis.gov.jm. So too are special observances and the latest news coming out of ministries, agencies, and departments of government. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
this has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.